The album it's pronounced House, I believe. It's by Supruga. It's a weird spelling because Google gets very confused with it because I think there is like a Cyrillic letter in there somewhere, but it's Xaoc. That's how it looks like to me. The band's called Supruga, Supruga. It is their debut album. They are from Samara in Russia, and they play a very abrasive, black and hardcore kind of sound. And the word house, I do hope I'm saying that right, it means chaos in English, which gets fucking. Oh no, so it means chaos in Russian, I should say. It is fucking apropos because Supruga play like a dissonant barrage of black and hardcore, but it is fucking awesome. I've so very much enjoyed this album. I've listened to it for about 3 weeks now, which is longer than I give a lot of other albums, 3 or 4 weeks. Purely because just I always find reviewing these kind of albums difficult because although they are like quite centered into how they play and what they play is fucking great, it's hard to describe them without being repetitive. So this is my best attempt after drinking tea, of course, and spilling it everywhere. So the album Howls does possess. Why is my fucking sit down? This possesses all the melody and structure of your typical hardcore punk album, but delivered with a terrifying black metal filter. The sort of like seamless transition and seamless blending kind of reminds me of how Kvelertak do it, because they blend a black metal sound with a hardcore punk delivery with a little bit of rock and roll in it. There's obviously so much less rock and roll in this to the point where there is no rock and roll in this, strangely enough. But they're like the melding of the genres work in that same sort of regard. It opens with like a noise track which goes into the first proper song in the album. It is a song pronounced Satsvia. It means kingdom, and opens with a really unsettling like scaling riff, and then it just like explodes into the shrieks of the vocalist Ksenia, who is very Eva Spency in the way she can like utilize the grotesque shrieks and the more harmonic cleans. And I'll talk about her cleans a little bit later on the album. They are almost haunting in a lot of regards in the album. But I tried a lot not to compare them to Rolo Tomasi, because I felt as soon as you start comparing them to like other female bands, it kind of feels lazy. But the way she does use her voice, especially on the latest Rolo album, on that latest Rolo album, it goes like you've got the really angelic synthy opening to then the best pop song that isn't an actual pop song, where Eva just uses all cleans, and then the next song is just thundering shrieks that she's known for. Ksenia has that similar sort of attack where she can do those like really angelic softs, but then when she wants to, she will fucking rip your ears out. Track 3, which I believe is pronounced Monstre. This is all from Google Translate, by the way, so if it's shit, you can blame Google. That's what I usually do. I dropped my hat. It means monsters, and to me, it's just one massive fucking blast beat from John Pavel that eventually leads into this like around 1 minute 40. You feel it more on headphones, like over-ear headphones, but there's just this really pulsating riff from guitarist Dimitri, and it's really unsettling just to have this like wave of guitar sonic, I guess, just attack you from both sides. And the pace slows down afterwards for track 4, which pleases Jazz. Oh, I got this right yesterday. Kishkniga? I'm so sorry, guys. It means Predator Hour. From my recollection, it's the first to include Ksenia's cleans, which in here oh my god, they sound so, it's almost terrifying how much they sound so pained and so emotional. It does sound incredible. And I love this kind of juxtaposition where they are, for the purpose, they are clean vocals. She's not screaming. She's not, it's not like a hardcore shout either. It is her just using her natural voice. But just trying to think how I can describe it without sounding like some kind of serial killer. Which I can. She sounds. I'm not sure I can get away with this. She sounds like a victim from a horror movie. Which, given this kind of music, I feel like that is a compliment. But I also am aware that that might not sound like a compliment. But just fucking listen to the song. It's a clean part. I can't remember. It's the latter half of the song. But it's just the way it comes through. It sounds like you are like listening to someone's dying breath, and it's so unsettling and so uncomfortable. But with the huge like bass driven, really attacking riffs in the background, it just sounds so oofed, I say, which is a pretty decent score. Sorry, I need to drink more tea. On to track 6 then with Kilivek, which means person, I believe. It brings in a more controlled, haunting delivery overall. And then the speed is brought back up for track 7, which is Siania, I believe. It means radiance, and it has this great vocal trade-off between Ksenia and the bassist. I believe it's the bassist doing the backing vocals of this, gentleman called Artyom. And yeah, that trade-off between... Although Ksenia has like a harsh vocal in general, I wouldn't consider it a higher register, but by no means is it like a deep voice either. It's like mid-range, but with Artyom comes in, he's got very low end, very gravelly kind of shout to him, and it is more like more grindcore shout. And that bouncing between those kind of vocals does work really well here. And there's also a fantastic, it sounds like a slowed down black metal riff at around 152. And it's weird because it is, is it tremolo picking? Where it's like, which is repeat really fast. It kind of sounds like that, but someone is literally just very, imagine Sun O trying to do like a tremolo riff. That, and the first drum metal band I can think of. But yeah, that really, really slow execution, but it is still like do. Well, slower than that. And the final track on the album, which I won't try because I just know I'll get it wrong. I've never seen that many H's in a word before in like the anglicized way. It means Confession of the Mourners. And like I was saying before, like I didn't like to compare this to like female-fronted bands because I just feel it's lazy. It does have a very Oathbreaker-like approach, and that the opening half of the song is very post-rock, very spacey, very eclectic, and then a really seamless a really seamless switch is flicked, and now you are in this blackened, doomy abyss. And I went over a few times and tried to figure out at what point that change from like this post-rock sound to this like gloomy black and doom happens. And literally it's instant, but it feels so natural that you do, if you're not looking out for it, you just do miss it. I had a lot of fun with this album. I thought it is a brutal album, but it was a lot of fun. It was the sort of thing where, when I listen to albums, I like to listen to them obviously in full, take everything in, and then the best songs on the album I'll put into just a shuffle playlist. When I'm just being lazy and I just want to listen to music I'm familiar with, just play that on like at a gym or on the walk to work, whatever, and that's the shuffle you get. With this kind of album, although there are some of the songs like, what's track 2 called? Svatsia, which is track 2, and I believe it was track 4, which... Do I have it? I do. Chaz Kishknika, again, I'm really, really sorry, guys. Songs like that can go in that playlist and they can be familiar, but listen to this album as one fluid piece. Just, it feels like that's like the best way to listen to it, because everything just flows off really well for each other. I would have this album on just going about my day, and I would be so engrossed with it, I wouldn't realize when one song finished and one song would begin. And I think a lot of that is they're trying to blend that black and hardcore sound with so many different variables and so many different ideas. There's a lot of doom in here, a lot of post-rock, a lot of noise, little bits of industrial here and there as well. The versatility of Ksenia's vocals are brilliant. Like I said, the overspent, clean and harsh sort of thing, combined with like the trade-off of Artyom. The only real criticism I'll have for this album is because like that whole singles thing, that's just like a personal thing. I know a lot of people will only listen to albums in full, and this is sort of album for that audience. The only issue I have with this album is I would love to see... So at the moment, these ideas, they are one per song. So, and first you've got like that little experiment with cleans, and then it's a full clean song, or like more of a clean vocal song. And then you've got the trade up between Ksenia and Artyom, and then you've got this, and then you've got that. I would love to see... I know it's like a really nitpicky thing. I'd love to see more of those things happening in the same song, like that strained, clean terror sing or terror vocal from track 4? Yeah, that like horrifying sounding clean yelp combined with Artyom's like low end gravelly shouts, I think would be fucking great. But like I said, that is a nitpicky kind of thing. One thing I did find from this album is the Russian language, as it turns out, works really fucking well for this kind of music, because the words are just spat out with so much anger and so much venom. I don't know if that's just... I won't lie, I have had limited experience with listening to Russian musicians. It might just be Supruga, or it might just be a Russian thing, but they just sound so angry all the time, and I wish I knew what they were saying. Google Translate only does so much with translating what they are saying, but I'm sure it's all lovely. I'm sure that's music you can play to your kids. I'm probably going to play it to them anyways if I ever have any. Kind of bands that I would compare this to, or kind of bands that I feel like other fans would like. The big one for me was Converge, the sort of like distant hardcore end of things. Doing a bit of research, I found a lot of comparisons to All Pigs Must Die. And I think the outsider one that I was looking at, just in terms of atmosphere and other things going on, I kind of compared them to Birds in Row, which I know we were talking about earlier for Damnation. That sort of eerie yet hardcore attack, I think, would blend over quite well to Supruga, but it is obviously a much more aggressive version of that. But yeah, Converge, All Pigs Must Die, and Birds in Row, or just like black and hardcore in general, because I couldn't find a lot of black and hardcore to compare this to, because everyone does a little bit differently. Either way, Supruga, and the album is called House, I believe. Supruga is spelled Supruga, and the spelling that keeps confusing Google, because I feel like there might be a Cyrillic letter in there somewhere, Xaoc.